just want you to sit in your chair and go, hip hip hooray, for the Western press and the Western narrative, regurgitating the same old, every single day, without the truth. Please watch the first series, the first 2 episodes, the second series. Look at that.
Absolutely fascinating.
And it was the first time the Beatles had really stopped being semi-professional almost.
God, blimey, that's better. Do you know what I do? It always goes on the little picture. Well, anyway, good evening, everyone. It's Jack the Ripper tonight who's going to do Jack the Ripper. And there's a lot of permutations with it. You know that there's been loads and loads of suspects. That, and I mean lots of them. Even one of the greatest of all crime writers was a suspect, believe it or not. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. Then we had one of the Queen's grandsons or son, who was the Duke of Clarence, and he was a suspect. Yes. So he was Jack the Ripper. We'll do all that as the show goes on. But I've got to thank these people. I have to thank these Gap Painting Services for sponsoring every Frank Carlyle podcast. Great people, wonderful, fully time served lads come in, do the job professionally. That's what they are, the professionals. They just come in and do it. If you're an NHS worker, get them in, because you have, or you will have, a special discount. A very special discount. So please get them in. Don't struggle. If you're an elderly couple or just an elderly person on your own, get them in. You too get a very special discount. As I said, they're fully time served, fully insured, just in case anything goes wrong. They do the job and they just go, leaving your home the way you wanted it. The way you wanted it, pristine. And with Christmas coming up, just give them a ring. That's all. Let them come out, give you the price, without any obligation whatsoever. Any obligation. And that's Gap Painting Services, sponsors of the Frank Carlyle podcasts. And there I am, sitting in the police station. Yes, a police station. Where, you know, I think some people will go, yeah, you deserve to be in there anyway. Anyway, it'll be a hard-hitting one. Very gruesome, to be honest, very gruesome. But there's only one culprit, perpetrator, in my opinion. One. And did he actually do it? No. All will be revealed. All will be revealed as it goes on. See what you lot are saying to me. See, even if Frank, hope you're well. I'm okay. Because even if Frank, Jack the Ripper tonight, yes, it's Jack. It is Jack. And Toscana. Ciao, Frank. Ciao, Franco. Evening, everyone. Evening, Anthony. Hope you're all fine. Yes, Anthony will be fine. And I'm going to bring him in right now. Save him moaning, you know what I mean? Sit there pulling faces at me. But there he is anyway. Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Frank. Good evening, all. I thought he was going to leave me in the cells there for hours.
Do you know what? You sounded like Dixon and Doc Green then. Evening, all.
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello, hello, hello.
I used to love that when I was a kid.
Do you know what? Jack Warner. God blimey. Was he ever a baddie in any film he made?
I don't remember seeing him as a baddie in anything.
Never. Never.
Yeah.
Are you looking forward to tonight?
I am looking forward to tonight. I have dispelled any little knowledge I may have gathered out. So I'm open to the elements.
Yes. And I'd say, as Irene Evans says, evening Frank, evening Irene. But as people would say, there are many, many suspects. But you're not, when you narrow it down, and you narrow it down to one person, I'll say this now, no one ever mentions what I'm going to mention. Nobody. And I gave the clue at the beginning. So when I mention this particular person, you'll go, okay. Okay. And yeah, do you know when we were talking today? Not today, last night.
Yeah.
I was at I don't know when it was. It was the last couple of nights when we were chatting.
Yeah.
And I mentioned about when I was doing a tour and a lovely lady and her husband, you know, coming up and they were all looking and going, oh, these must be getting married or something.
That's
the way
right.
they were dressed.
Yeah.
Remember that? And
Yeah.
when they got on the coach,
Yeah.
you're not going to believe this. When they got on the coach, they were actually just got married. They were on the honeymoon, but they already booked for the coach.
Well, do you know
And they
what?
came out, you know, Liverpool with me. I've got something. I was looking for something today. And you're not going to believe this, aren't we?
Oh,
Lady, and you see the girl next. I'm in between lovely Laney and
yeah.
that blonde girl, and next to the blonde girl
Yeah.
is her husband. They were the couple.
Oh,
Isn't that incredible?
that is incredible. What a memory.
And I was just looking for something, and there you are. There, I didn't even know that was taken.
Oh, that's fantastic, Frank.
Isn't that great?
That's brilliant.
What I'll do, I'll take a photograph of it and send you it over.
Wow.
What do you
Wow.
think? They were on their honeymoon. Come on the coach. They just got married. Because they were all saying, the people, you know, as they were coming over
Yeah.
outside the Catholic Cathedral, they go, oh, they must have been just, you know, are these going to a wedding or did they get married or something? Because they were just walking. You should have seen the way they were dressed in wedding outfits.
Yeah. Wow, that's fantastic.
It is, isn't it? It is wonderful stuff. And just see what these saying. Lovely Toscana. When I lived with my parents in the Yorkshire Ripper lived down the road, all right, from us. And years later, I had to deal with Sonia, the strange woman, to say the least. Or his wife, Sonia, his wife.
Wow.
She must have known. She must have known that lady. And Daniela, our lovely Daniela. Hi, Frank and Anthony. Listening to you on the train back from Barcelona, I've always been very interested in Jack the Ripper story. Good evening, everyone. That's Daniela, our lovely Italian lady living in Barcelona.
And Stefan is her husband.
And Stefan, yeah.
That's good evening, Daniela. I love Barcelona in my one and only time there. I loved it.
Oh, you would, wouldn't you? You'd have to say that. I love Barcelona, it was great. Did you go on the beach there?
No, we were there for a few days, and we found a wonderful morning cafe taverna to go and have a lovely coffee and some breakfast, and that kind of decided where we were going to go. So we walked Barcelona as much as we could in the few days we were there, but I loved it. But I tell you, the first thing that kind of shocked me, well, not shocked me, but like took me breath away, was the graffiti. But the graffiti was only on certain doors, not on buildings. It's not desecrated any buildings and stuff, but apparently they were allowed to graffiti onto to doors, big solid wooden doors and stuff. And it was quite amazing to see because I'd never seen graffiti before. I've been to
Jack
New
the Ripper
York.
wasn't there, was he, Anthony?
Do you know what, Frank? There was a dodgy guy sitting next to us and he was ordering blood red steaks every morning. So I thought, no, I'm not going to sit by him.
You coward. So you're not a lady sitting next to him instead.
No, it was just I went over there with my dad. It was my cousin's stag weekend, but old and young, we were all there. It was just a totally mixed bag of family, and yeah, loved it. Trying to get back there with Lainey, but
Do you see how? Remember, I was going to do something, and we went off on a tangent, and we never done it. Remember that? This is going a bloody shame.
I know.
In Barcelona.
I see nothing from now on.
No, did you see the Gaudi thing? I don't like it at all. You know, the cathedral, Gaudi's cathedral.
Yeah.
I don't like it.
Oh.
It's strange, isn't it? It's like Picasso, don't like him. Van Gogh, it's what takes my eye, and if I don't like it, I don't like it. I can't get used to things, Anyway, Callum says, new haircut, Franco, ready for the big one on Sunday? Yes. I'm doing a show on Thursday, by the way, a football show. I'm doing that, and also the watch along. So prior to the watch along, there will be before the game starts. There will be, I'm sorry about this. It's I've got a terrible. Every time I come in here, I get itches around my nose. It's ridiculous. Anyway, Callum, I'll be doing a pre-match, then the game, then a post-match game, and that's on the weekend. That's at the weekend. And Daniela says, Anthony and Frank, you're both welcome to come to Barcelona anytime.
Thank you, Daniela. I I would love to take Lainey there. I really, really was overjoyed to be there. Love to.
I've just had a message off our Francine. Jesus. Our Francine phoned me up today and she said she was crying. I said, what's
Oh,
up? She said, I'm in hospital, Dad.
oh,
She
gee.
lost her vision as she was driving. She
Well,
lost her vision bringing Sophia to school. So anyway, dropped her off. And then she made her way to a friend's who lives by Aintree Hospital. And they said, listen, don't worry. So they brought her over to the Aintree Hospital. And they turned around and said, you might have had, get onto this, a mini stroke.
oh my God.
And so now she's just said, I'd texted her before because she's been in there a long time. She had an MRI scan and she's just texted. I said, you know, are you home yet? Have you been examined? She said, I've just got home. I'm okay. It was a migraine. I still have to go for the MRI, but I'm all right. So I said to her it could have been a migraine. And I also said it could have been a mini stroke. I said everybody suffers them and they don't know.
We don't know until it's the after results. But in a strange way, I am so glad that she's had a migraine. And
At least that's good news.
yes,
That's your worried, doesn't it?
uh, as we were talking the other day, it takes something to remind us of how fragile we all are. You know,
We were saying it, wasn't we, when we were chatting, having a chat? Oh, we take things for granted. And all of a sudden, like Francine taking Sophia to school as she always does every morning,
yeah,
she just goes blind in one eye,
yeah.
her left eye. But anyway, she's okay now and we'll have to carry on.
Good. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. And as Daniela says, Anthony and Frank, you're both welcome to come to Barcelona anytime. That's a lovely
That's
a
lovely.
lovely offer from her and Step. Only been to Galicia, lovely part of Spain,
Ah,
and that's Gary Rigby.
yeah. Do you know what? I just had a flashback to what I loved about Barcelona. Our Tom was a tiny tot then, and you met him now, he towers over me. But um, every shop in Barcelona is pro Barcelona. So the football
Out
kit
of it, they're all, you know, because yeah,
is
I
in.
know what you mean, but they're also anti-Spain government,
Oh, okay.
and so is the Basque country.
Mhm.
It's strange concoction of
Wow.
politics over in Spain. Very strange. I've got to carry on, Andy. I'm sorry. So Gary says he's only ever been to there anyway, you know, Galicia. And Janet Darlington, guess where I am? I bet you're in. You're in the Shakespeare Theatre and you're going to watch a Shakespeare play.
Oh, Barcelona.
Or Barcelona, yeah. Could be. Anyway, my old mate Steve Mullins. Hi Frank, I have a book called A to Z of Victorian Crime, and it has a chapter about Jack the Ripper. Yeah.
Mr. Aberline.
And the lovely ambidextrous Helen. Evening all. Evening, Helen. Evening.
Jack Warner again there.
And Yusef to Janet. Tesco's in Widnes. Guess where I am? Tesco's in Widnes. Well, anyway, I'm going to the start now. Is that okay? Jack the Ripper, thanks for joining us, everybody. I really appreciate it. And please, I was watching a stream today, and this fella, I always watch it. It's like the alternative, not the alternative news, but it's the truth news. And he's got thousands, like 60,000, 70,000 people. And he said, what did he say? He said, please get the algorithm out there because there's something going on, he said. And this is what I mean about anyone joining us, to press the like button. It's the algorithm, or, like the viewers or whatever, could keep going down and down and down. And then it'll be the end of us, believe it or not. So please, if you've pressed it or before, press it every time you come on. Please do that for me and Anthony there. And Janet says, our eyes are streaming with laughter, and you guessed wrong. Well, it's a nap and guess wrong, isn't it? So you're not really a Shakespeare fan. No, she is. He's made up. She loves the Shakespeare thing. So anyway, Jack the Ripper. And Jack the Ripper, there was lots of headlines about it. There was lots of suspects. There was lots of them. And it's amazing, about these particular people. These suspects. And who they were. Very prominent people. What it is actually is this. What it is this. Hang on a sec. Just a minute. And the victims. And it's very important, the victims. And there's the victims. And what you've got there is Mary. I'll have to put my bloody glasses on. God blimey, I can't stop wearing these. Do you know what? These are very expensive glasses as well,
Yeah.
Paid a fortune for them. You go boss. But just a minute, I'm sorry about this, people. I'm sorry. Right. Mary Ann Nichols, 31st of August. Excuse me. Mary Ann Nichols, 31st of August, 1888. Annie Chapman, the 8th of September, 1888. Elizabeth Stride, the 30th of September, 1888. And Catherine Eddowes, 30th of September, 1888. Now, Elizabeth Stride, she was known as Long Liz Stride because she was a very tall lady. Very tall. And she was Norwegian, by the way. She was a Norwegian girl. But anyway, her death occurred on the 30th along with Catherine Eddowes. Right? And Mary Jane Kelly, 9th of November, 1888. Now, was there any has anything caught your eye there?
Yeah.
Go on.
There seems to be a pattern with the dates, certainly in fairly regular, but nothing in October.
Yes, that's the very important point. No October, and I'll be referring back to that because that is very important for what I'm about to say. So these girls, do you think they knew each other?
Possibly in passing.
Okay.
They share the same streets.
Okay. Okay. No, that's fine. That's fine. I just want to get to something. And this is very important. What was the education system, say say a man, say a man in his 20s or 30s, say like a working class man, for example.
Right.
What would it have been like? You know,
I,
say like he's 30 odd years of age. Do you think he could read and write?
possibly depends on if he's a labourer and stuff. Many didn't.
Okay, now don't forget what we've done before, especially with the history of literature, right? You had the likes of Jane Eyre, for example, and that was a semi-autobiography by Charlotte Bronte. She
Yeah.
wanted to open up a school, didn't she?
She did.
To
Yeah.
give kids a chance to
Yes.
read and write.
Yeah.
You had the likes of the wonderful Kitty Wilkinson, who opened up a school, didn't she, for kids?
Yeah.
To teach them, to give them
Yeah.
an education. You see where I'm coming from, don't you?
I
So
do.
therefore, the likes of a 30 odd, 40 odd year old man in 1888, say from a working, there's a reason why I'm saying this. Was he be educated enough going back? Would he have learned to read and write as a child? And don't forget that there was no education while they were younger. There was charity schools, but they were very rarely that these young lads and girls went to the charity schools. Very rare. So it wasn't until 1870 with the Forster MP, that it was education for all, for kids.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until 1880, 10 years later, that it became compulsory under the Mandela Act.
Yeah.
So you had the Forster Act of 1870 and the 1880 Mandela Act, that it was compulsory for kids to go to school.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, these suspects are in the late 30s, 40s. So would they have been educated if they were working classes?
Unlikely.
Exactly.
Unless they were attached to a firm or whatever that they
Well,
had to.
the working class.
Yeah.
The working class. The only thing that they could do was put an X. People told them to put an X. That was it. That was their writing ability.
Yeah.
That was their grammar. Okay, now let's talk about grammar. Suppose they could write. What would the grammar be like?
Basic, if any.
Basic, if any. Okay, so let's have a look now. Okay, now let me read this. Mr. Lusk, and it's from hell. Sir, I send you half of the kidney I took from the woman. One woman preserved it for you. The other piece I fried and ate. It was very nice. I may send you the bloody knife that took it out if you only wait a while longer. Signed, catch me if you can, Mr. Lusk. Right? Now, that's been printed out. Now, there it is on the right.
Yeah.
Look at the handwriting.
Yeah. Yeah. A well-practiced hand.
Yes, indeed.
Not a
Not
scroll.
only that, it's been written either with a new fandangle pen that you put into the inkwell, or, a very fine, good quill, what Dickens wrote his books in.
Yeah.
A very fine quill. But look at it.
Yeah.
It's perfect, isn't it?
It is perfect.
And that's the grammar. So we can rule out a working class person, can't we?
Yeah, I would say so.
So
Yeah.
what kind of a person who'd write that? What kind of a person would you say it was?
It's someone who can obviously write, is well versed in writing and comments, but he is we say dumbing down. He's kind of making himself look
Well,
thick.
I'll tell you what. The first impression I got, that he was a well-educated person. Well
Yeah.
educated. You've only got to look at the writing. There was another letter which I used to have. Unfortunately, I haven't got it anymore. That's why I was looking for it today. And you see it printed out, but also you see it in the form of writing like this.
Yeah.
Like this. And it was paragraphed because it was a bit longer than this particular straightforward letter. And it started off with, "Dear Boss." That's what. Then it gave you, the two paragraphs. Then underneath it signed, not Mr. Lusk, but Jack. That's what it just said, Jack. Because the press gave the nickname Jack the Ripper to the person. But what was so significant was the very last thing in the letter what I'm talking about. Not this one, but the letter that I've got. I don't know where it is. I've looked everywhere, searched high and low. And do you know what it had? P.S. Postscript. And then he said a sentence. Now then, what does that prove by saying P.S. Postscript?
Educated hand.
Absolutely. Absolutely well educated. Well educated hand. So, you see the way it was. And I'm going to show something, not now, but later, which is absolutely brilliant. Now, I'll show it now. I'll show this now. And I'll explain about it later on. I'll explain about it later on. I've actually held that watch in my hand. I was just up at a university, and then someone knocked on the. I was giving a lecture, and someone knocked on the window, the door. I went like that. And it was one of the admin workers. And I was about to finish up, really. So I was just telling the students about something. So anyway, I went to the door and she said, there's a gentleman here, a Frenchman.
Oh.
I said, yeah. She said, he wants a word with you before he goes. He's going in the next 20 minutes. I said, I'll send him along. And she said, there he is. But he was behind, like she was there in front. There's the door. She's there. And he was right behind, there. I didn't see him. So we just stepped in. And he actually heard me giving this lecture about, and his friend from here, giving a lecture about this. And he says, and he put that in the palm of my hand. Couldn't believe it. I've got a photograph of it somewhere. I really have. I'll get it. I know Jason's not here, unfortunately. Jason's not here. Let me see. Couldn't find this before. Bloody hell. Couldn't find it. Just bear with me, people. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Let's see. Just bear with me. I have got a photograph of it. I couldn't find this particular thing before, I was looking everywhere. And there it was in front of me, bloody eyes.
As with all of us, Frank.
It's ridiculous, is this? Fucking ridiculous. It says here, I can't go on looking for it. I'm awfully sorry. Wasting time.
So, they appear to be names engraved or carved in the back.
I'm going to tell you later on.
Okay.
It's all for the elements of surprise.
Oh.
It's all for the elements of surprise. Oh, Jesus. I can't find it. I've got it. It's here somewhere. And there's loads of junk, unfortunately. And suppose I'll get it later, when I'm doing nothing and just going through things. It's so annoying, Anthony. It really is so annoying. It really is. And I'm sorry about this, folks. I really am. I'm so sorry. It's you actually see it. I'll just get it another time. I will get it. I will get it and show you it some other time. It is here though. I'm so sorry that I can't get it. No. I'm not going through everything. I can't, can I? I've just got to carry on with this. Sorry about that, people. Sorry about it. And I said, what the fella showed me, he said, look at that. He said, wow. Wow. So anyway, I'll get back to that later on. I'll get back to
it. Had existed, Frank.
Did it exist?
Were you aware that it existed?
I knew that it existed, yeah, because that's what I mean. I actually mentioned it in this lecture. I always, when I did Jack the Ripper, I always mentioned it. I said, a fob watch.
Yeah.
And this is why this fella came and showed me. A Frenchman. But he said that there's an Englishman trying to get it off him. He was claiming it. And he said, no, he said, it's mine. I'm not going to give it back. But anyway, that was that. And the man just went. But I have got exactly that, but in colour. In colour. Honestly, I tried to, I was looking everywhere for it today. That's how I come across things. I've even lost all my notes on the Ripper that I do. That's what I was looking for, in all honesty. So, Jack the Ripper. Now, the last victim of Jack the Ripper was Mary Kelly.
Yeah.
Now, Mary Kelly, believe it or not, was an Irish colleen. And she was a domestic servant. And she got a job in, you're not going to believe this. She came over from Ireland and she got a job in the Corn Exchange, the pub.
Wow.
That's where she worked. Fenwick Street, Corn Exchange. And, all the businessmen used to go in there. And she was a very, shall we say, just a nice girl doing a job. And you can imagine the businessmen then, there was no boundaries with them, especially with young colleens. And Maybrick used to drink in there because he was a cotton broker. So where did he used to go? What we were showing last night.
Yeah, Cotton Exchange.
Cotton Exchange. And it's only over the road, really, isn't it? The Cotton Exchange, the Cotton pub.
Yeah.
Fenwick Street. So he used to go there, business, and he started talking to this young girl. And he said to her, how would you like to come and work for me as a domestic? So she never answered right away. She never jumped at the chance and said, oh, yeah, that'll be great. So she's saying how, it went on for a week or two, her work, and all this groping and whatever. And she's seeing him again. And she said, does the offer still stand? And he said, yeah. So we brought her. He brought her into his own battle crease. There was already a nurse there called Alice Yap looking after the children. So who is Florence Maybrick? Who is this man's wife? Well, she was American born. She was American born, and her name was Florence Chandler. And she went on a cruise, believe it or not, a bloody cruise. You're talking like 1884, 5, something like that. And she went on this cruise. And what she's seen, was this man, James Maybrick, who was 42 at the time. And Florence was only 18 years of age. Now, what you've got to understand is these people from privileged backgrounds, whether it's male or female, what type of people do they marry?
You would have thought that they'd marry into their own class.
Exactly. They marry their own. No one had married, from a very privileged background. No one would give it the time of day for me or you. They had their own class, and they married into their own class. So this James Maybrick, see, my thoughts on it was she went on a cruise, 18 years of age, on her own. Because here they have ballroom, not ball, I forget what you call them, young girls and young men and whatever, they went to these balls, and this is where they picked, the husbands if they could, and wives if they could, their own classes. I forget what you call them. Forget what you call them. So this particular girl must have been sent out by her mother to look for a man, a rich man, because who could go on cruises? But he wasn't on a cruise, James. He was on a business trip because he was always on in America. And this is where he met on board the ship, Florence. So they got together and they married. So everyone was made up, he was a wealthy man, he was a cotton broker. They got married actually in London and they moved up to Liverpool. He was a Scouser, he was from Liverpool. And he had a home called Battlecrease in Egbert, which was very, very upper class at the time. Very upper class. The area, you've got to go back to the 19th century, the 1800s. So it was very upper class. And she was in her element, Florence. She spent a lot of money as well. She was very lavish in her ways. Very lavish. And he said to her, listen, you can't keep spending money. They were always having soirees and, whatever. And going to other people's houses for more soirees. I've got to answer this thing here. It's important, actually. And it's Dr. Benjamin. And he says, is it like that Mary Jane Kelly's mother lived in Birkenhead? They were originally from County Limerick. Yes. Just explained that she was an Irish colleen. But you're so right, Dr. Benj. You're so right. So there's a reason why she lived in Birkenhead, which you're not going to believe. Well, you will believe, because I'm going to tell. That Birkenhead's got a lot to answer for, Anthony. You're stuck for words, aren't you? But anyway, what you had these things, these wonderful soirees, and she was made up until he said, listen, you've got to cut down on the lavishness. You've got to. So he gave her a budget. He said, listen, this is what you can spend. She didn't like that, Florence. She didn't like it because he was always going over to America for business, and staying in London as well, doing business. And she found out something. She found out that he had a mistress. And he had 5 kids to her. 5 children to the mistress, right through their marriage. Now, don't forget, he had 2 kids now, right? Himself here in Florence, him in Florence, had 2 children. So let's go back now. Let's go back to Mary Kelly. And Mary Kelly wasn't a real name. And that was one of the reasons why I was looking for a proper name, and I had it on me. Can't find it. I think someone's nicked it on me. I'm being honest. All my stuff on it's not Tom Slemon. But so I must have nicked it. I've looked everywhere, and I'm talking about over the years as well. I've been looking for it, but I had a proper name, and the name was Mary Jane, by the way. Mary Jane, but it was an Irish name she had. Now, Mary, as I said, she was a domestic. That's all she was. But Maybrick started to have an affair. Now, Mary also had a boyfriend named James Kelly from Birkenhead.
There we go.
James Kelly from Birkenhead. Now, James, they used to see each other. And do you know where they used to see each other? I'm not going to believe this. They used to see each other in a pub in town called Mar Edgerton's.
Wow, which is still there?
Which is still there. Now, what's facing Marais?
Is the Empire Theatre.
Empire Theatre. So if you go past the Empire Theatre and you go along Lime Street, you've got another big theatre.
Yeah.
Remember when I did that thing with John Bishop? Who do you think you are?
Yeah.
Who do you think you are? Now, John Bishop, I've got this photo. I'm not going to take it out again. I showed John Bishop. I said, "Hey, there's the theatre that your granddads used to play in right there." And I showed him it. And he went, "Wow." He said, "Was it there?" I said, "Yeah, it was right there. The theatre." So you had theatres all over the place. You had one in Lime Street. You had one in, the Playhouse, as you know, the oldest rep. You also had the Theatre Royal in Williamson Square, which is, that's where Charles Dickens, went in a play. He was an amateur actor. Sarah Siddons threaded the boards there as well. So what I'm saying is, you had all these theatres. So they used to meet in Marais, and it was ideal for everywhere. Just a nice little stroll down to wherever, or stroll over to the Empire, as it was then. It wasn't the one there today, but it was there nevertheless on the same site. So that's where they used to meet. So they used to go to theatre. Until one day, excuse me, I'll have to have a drink. Until one day, Anthony, Mary said to him, "I'll have to tell you something." He said, "What's that?" She said, "I'm pregnant." And he looked, "What?" Do you ever remember Upstairs and Downstairs?
I do. The series that was on BBC TV, yeah.
Yeah, remember? Now then, they had the son in it. The son, you know, Lords and Lady, whatever the name was. And he carried on with one of the girls, one of the servants. And it was very scandalous. It's okay going with prostitutes, as William Blake said. Remember the marriage hearse?
Yeah. Yeah.
And the young harlot scream, blast. Remember?
Yeah.
So it's all right, going with good time girls. Plague the marriage hearse, remember? Blake. So now what you've got is a scandalous result. Carrying on with a servant who became pregnant. And that was just the same as it was in that Upstairs and Downstairs.
Yeah.
Scandalous.
Yeah.
And it's all right having a mistress because he had 5 kids to it. And he used to pay her annually around £100, which was a lot of money then. You know, for the upkeep of the children. So what do you think he did and said?
I think the first thing he would have said is, you keep this quiet, keep it to yourself.
Now, don't forget, I'm sorry, go on.
We're talking about maybe.
Yeah, and Mary Jane, yeah.
Yeah, he just said, keep it to yourself. Otherwise,
Okay.
you lose the job.
Okay, there's no abortions then, was there, really?
No.
You couldn't go to a doctor and get an abortion. You know, the way you can today, and you go to hospitals and clinics and whatever, you know. There's even still underground abortions, if you know what I mean. So it wasn't like that then. So he said, and he knew that she had a boyfriend. And he said, listen, you can't say nothing to anybody. She said, well, what about my boyfriend? He said, well, but don't say that you're pregnant by all means, but not to me. And feel the consequences if you do. So she said, okay. But she was so excited that she was pregnant. She was just excited. So she met a fella in Marredgetons. And, excuse me. So she met a fella in Mary's. And she told him, I'm pregnant. But whether she was going to say, but it's the master's. I'm pregnant to the master. She never actually had time to say this. And what you think? As soon as she said, I'm pregnant, what did you think James Kelly did? What was his first reaction? Do you reckon?
Probably like his. He's overjoyed.
Yes.
This is my
Bang
girl.
on. Bang on. He was made up. He went on and grabbed it. So what they done after that, you know, could have gone to the theatre to celebrate. I don't know. So she told the master. She told James Mabry what was said and what was done. So he felt the relief go from there to there. And he said, Don't be worrying, he said. Don't be worrying. He said, I'll set you up in London. I'll set you up in London and provide for you. I'll pay the rent. There's no worries. No worries whatsoever for you and your boyfriend. Right?
Yeah.
So Mary, she was absolutely delighted. And she thanked him. He said, okay, just get on your business now, just do what you normally do here in the home. He said, just do it. He said, and I'll sort everything out for you. So she made up. So when she went and told James when they met up, and she said to James, you're not going to believe this. He said, what's that? And she told him what he was going to do, Maybury, the master, and set them up, that he felt sorry for us and we'll be all right down in London. There'll be plenty of work and he'll pay the rent. How do you think he felt? He was made up.
Suspicious.
No, he was made up.
Wow.
Oh, he said, great. Fantastic. What's in Birkenhead? You're talking like 1887 or something like this. You're talking 18. What's in Birkenhead? What's in Liverpool? It's still poverty ridden.
Yeah.
Isn't it? Poverty stricken.
Yeah.
Lots of poverty. And your rent getting paid in the capital. Your fare, even on the new train, getting down there.
Yeah. Busier life.
Oh,
More
yeah.
going.
All gone. Absolutely. Absolutely. So that was behind the poverty. Poverty's lifted. Poverty is lifted. And a new start in London. But there was a massive, massive caveat. And do you know what it was?
No.
James Kelly was married with a little baby, a little daughter. So what do you think he done?
Ditched him?
Well, it's so easy to do that, isn't it? Just say, listen, I'm going out. I'm going to find myself a job. I'll be back, but never return, because he'd be going to London with Mary and living a new life. They wouldn't know, would they? The girl, the wife wouldn't know.
No.
It's as simple as that. Simple as that. He murdered both his wife and child.
Jeez.
He murdered them. So he thought he'd be free. But he was found out right away. Right away. And he was captured right away, even before he got to Mary. He was captured. Placed under arrest, charged with murder, And in 1888, he appeared at Liverpool Assizes at St. George's Hall for the murder of his wife and child. What do you think happened to him?
At that time, you would think he'd be immediately hung.
Yes, but he wasn't. They found that he was a very clever man and he was acting the fool. And they found him incompetent. So they found him insane. And he was sent to Broadmoor to live out his life. To live out his life.
Wow.
Now then, Mary told, she said, he's gone, I don't know where. And then they found out that, obviously in the newspapers, that he was arrested. So what James, he didn't know what to do. The panic started to set in. So he said, would you still go to London? I'll look after you, no problem. And she said, yeah. So we brought her down to London, got her a flat. She was living there, rent-free. She has all the, the food, whatever, there was no problem about that. Then she had the baby. So what do you think happened then, Anthony? Could you imagine what would happen then about the baby?
Yeah.
And Maybrick. Now, don't forget Maybrick. He's still in a bit of a turmoil, isn't he? That if this comes out and I'm exposed with a baby and whatever, and also think about this, the association with James Kelly, that could all come out, and he's in jail. Not in jail, he's in Broadmoor, a loony, as they called him. I don't like saying that.
And she was also a family servant.
Yes.
So
go on.
The double whammy of shame that would have hit him, his family, his wife. Yeah,
it is a double whammy.
And
that double whammy, would reverberate right around him, right around his business, right around everything, even his own family. And I'm talking not his immediate family, as in his wife and children, but also his brothers. Because they were a very protective family with the Maybricks.
Yeah.
Very protective.
Businessman. So business and everything comes into it.
Everything comes into it. Everything. So she had the baby. And he said to her, listen, he said, we can't I can't go on like this, but I will look after you. So we'll get the baby adopted. Yeah.
Wow.
Get the baby adopted. And she's, I'm not saying she really argued the point strongly that, no, I want my baby. So she was thinking about herself. She was thinking about, I can't really afford, because he did threaten her with, if you want to keep the baby, by all means, but you'll have to fend for yourself. I won't help you. You see, that was the threat. So she said, okay. So they had the baby adopted. Nuns adopted the baby. I forget what nunnery it was. I forget it. I just forget now what abbey it was. But they had, where they adopted kids. And anyway, that was a great relief to him again. The baby's gone. And who'd take notice of her if she said anything? No one. No one. And he just said to her, that this is it now, goodbye. And he left her. He said, don't ever come back to Liverpool, ever. So she went, okay. Okay.
What a horror.
Now, don't forget, Mary is now on her home. She had no home. She's on her own. She's on her own. She couldn't afford the rent. She had no work, nothing. So she went down into, she just went wandering about. And she walked into a pub. She walked into a pub. Now, remember when I said to you, do you reckon these girls knew each other?
Yeah.
Right? Did these girls know each other? Well, they did, because they used to drink, eat, and do the businesses together. Streetwise, that is.
Yeah.
Streetwise. Now, when you look at these girls, they're all in the 30s. Even, I think a couple of them were in the early 40s. Been on the game for years, ravaged with drink, ravaged with most probably diseases. So how do you think they looked facially?
The opposite to a young Irish girl who just had a baby, who lived
Absolutely.
a relatively comfortable life, if not the greatest life.
Okay, you've hit the nail on the head. Because she walked in the pub and just sat down. She must have been exhausted. She just sat down, got herself a drink or whatever. And those 4 girls looked over at her and must have said, look at her. She's pretty. Because to get yourself, I don't know, what did you call them? Johns? I don't know what you call, a punter.
Customers.
Customer, whatever. It would have been very odd for them. That's why I said, what do you think of them? Looking at them facially and whatever. And anyone walking past would look at them and go, I know you're all right, love, not tonight. Yet, when they seen this young Colleen, who'd never been on the game or anything like that, she'd look like a little a cash cow. We'll bring her into our little crowd. We'll ply her with friendship and see how it goes from there. And then obviously they did. And then the next, she was going out on the game. until one day or one night or whenever it was, they were sitting together, and they said to her, "How come you ended up in London? How? Where did you come from?" So she told them she was Irish. Obviously, they knew. Obviously, she was Irish, and where she worked. Went to Liverpool, where she worked, the Corn Exchange, as a bar person. Just collecting glasses and being groped. And she got a job as a domestic at Battle Crease. So what you have now is this. You have a situation when she told them everything about the pregnancy, about her boyfriend who's in Broadmoor, and James Maybury, the father of the child who was adopted. What do you think they're going to do? What do prostitutes have? A little group of them. What do they have for
Pimps.
protection?
Do have someone who finds them the work, a pimp or something?
A pimp. A pimp, you visit. A pimp. And there was pimps then. There was even pimps in the Roman days, believe it or not. For the brothels.
Yeah.
So there was pimps there. And they had a pimp. And there was a fellow by the name of Hutchinson. And Hutchinson could read and write. Could read it. I'm not saying the grammar or anything else was anything special. Not like the Ripper that we've seen.
Yeah.
So they got the address, everything off it. And he wrote a letter to her, to Maybrick. What do you think it was for?
Be a blackmail letter?
Yes. Nail on the head again.
We know what you did.
Yeah. And we want this. Now, Maybrick, whatever he did in the meantime, and he knew about the girls, because he had a place in Bishopgate Street, and it looked right into, it was only a flat, but it looked right into the heart of where these prostitutes were. And there was another place in Brady Street. Now, let me just take those off a minute. I'll show you what I mean. Say, like, My Stupid Head is the, the area of all the prostitutes. I'm trying to coerce here. Right. So here, you have Brady Street. Here, you have Bishopgate Street. And it looks right into the heart of where these girls plied the trade.
Yeah. Whitechapel.
Yes. Yes. Now, why did I say Brady Street, where he has a home in there? Bishopgate Street. I'll tell you for why. Do you ever remember me telling you ages ago, when we weren't doing Jack the Ripper or anything, and where he used to drink? Maybrick.
Yeah, vaguely.
Well, he used to drink in Hope Street. The Masons.
Yeah. Yeah.
Still there today.
Yeah.
In fact, I've got a photograph of myself sitting there with all the Masons who want to be to join.
Absolutely. The Masonic Lodge.
Yeah. So anyway, but he used to go in there for a drink. And he was very friendly with a surgeon who worked at the Royal Southern Hospital. Right? And he used to do experiments in his home. Used to do all these experiments. The big jars and whatever. With human tissue. With human tissue. Do you see where I'm coming from now?
Yeah. Because he's dealing with the likes of body parts, body snatchers.
Okay. So he said to him, I'm in a bit of trouble. I said, what kind of trouble? And he told him. So he brought him down to London. Brought him down to London. And he where I said about Bishopgate Street, on the other side was Brady Street, looking in. He got him in Bishopgate, Brady Street. And when they used to go down to London, they always went separately. Always went separately. And came back separately. Because he went down on a recon. And that recon was to point out these women. See what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now then, imagine, you've got to understand this. Imagine if Mary would have been the first one. Imagine no one would suspect anything. It's just this fella going around fucking killing people. Mad fella.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But they left her till the last. Is that you or me?
Don't know. Could be me. Don't know. There's berries. So it's not Maybrick.
Yeah. It's you never know.
It might be.
So anyway, might be Maybrick. So anyway, he was looking at them individually. And they're going, right, okay. Now then, every murder was at a weekend. Did you know that?
Only from what you said a long while ago.
Every murder was at a weekend. They always travelled down to London on a Friday. The murders occurred on a Saturday and a Sunday, the last one. And then they were back home on the Monday. You see?
Yeah.
So the murders happened with the exception, remember August, September, November.
Yeah.
And what was missing?
October.
Okay. And here's what happened. The surgeon suffered from rumbling appendicitis. And he was incarcerated in his own hospital down at the Royal Southern. And they couldn't operate because I forget what it was, like, you know, they wanted to take it out or whatever. And then, I don't know, I forget. Anyway, they never operated on him for that month. So at the end of the month, he said, like, you know, going into the November, he said, I feel great. I feel it's okay. You know, I haven't got any pain, nothing. I'm okay. I'm okay. So he signed himself out. And he told Maybury. So they went down on the 8th of November to find, which they knew where she lived anyway, Mary Kelly. The surgeon got dressed up as a woman. As a woman, because there was police everywhere. You know, just strolling around. You don't find them today, do you? When we were younger, we found 2 policemen always walking the beat at me. Aren't you answering me? Yeah. Okay. That was a good yes. So, if you could imagine then, Anthony, the police on the beat, even the rich, remember Springfield Jack, we were talking about him, and that lordship. They found him in the house, in the apartment, and he blew his whistle for the police, and he got off. Remember?
Yes.
So they all had police whistles, the rich. And a few prostitutes were given police whistles just in case they wanted to get them. So he got dressed up as a woman. And he knew exactly where Mary lived. And he went up the stairs, knocked on the door. She opened the door and he killed her. Did you know that he skinned her alive? He actually skinned.
I knew it was far more horrific than previous ladies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What he actually did as well, it's horrible. Now, he always carried a Gladstone bag. He was known for it. Witnesses, people. Why did he carry a Gladstone bag?
Carry tools or knives in?
Yeah. And his tools were, besides a nice big sharp whatever instrument he had, could have been like a scalpel. You don't know. People just say, oh, it was a big knife. It could have been a scalpel. What it was, he carried a jar, a big jar.
Yeah.
Screw on, with solution in it. Why was he carrying solution in it? Because what he was doing, he was cutting lumps out of them. A uterus was found out of one, a womb, a full womb, nipples, just nipples, not the old breast, just nipples, and a thorax was taken out as well. Because the throat was cut. So we had time to do these things. He had time. Because they trusted him. He was a doctor. There was a fellow, a police constable named Rose. And this fella, like this ripper type person, was walking past him, and he stopped him. And he actually brought him into the police station, which was just across the road. He said, "Hey, you, come here. Get in here." So we brought him in. And the desk sergeant was looking, and he said, "Hey, Sarge, look at his arm, look." And in his cuff was blood. Blood. And, little spatters of blood on his coat. And the desk sergeant said, "How did you get that blood?" He said, "Oh, just delivered a baby." And this Constable Rose said later on, he was Jack the Ripper. That was him. He pulled a fast one on the desk sergeant because he said, "No, keep hold of him." He said, "No, let him go. He's a gentleman." He's a gentleman. Gentlemen don't kill people. And he must have delivered a baby. You see? And that was a Constable Rose. But he was convinced that it was Jack the Ripper, and they held him. They had him. But I don't know what murder it was. I don't know what murder it was when he had hold of him. Forget now. But anyway, that was the last of the murders. I don't care what anyone says, honestly. A serial killer carries on until he's caught. Am I right?
Yeah.
So what happened to the surgeon from the Royal Southern Hospital? What happened to him, do you reckon? Why didn't he carry on?
Because whatever the illness was came back.
Yes, excellent stuff. And it was the peritonitis, and it burst. The appendicitis, the rumbling appendicitis, burst, making it peritonitis, which poisons his body, and you die from it.
Yeah.
And he died in December. After about 3 weeks of being ill. It just burst on. How I got this information was a great, I forget the title of it. It was by a fella named Neil, something Neil. Like Anthony Neil or whatever. Not Neil, Jones or something Neil. And he said that with the likes of Maybrick and this doctor, there was a great camaraderie between them. A great camaraderie. And everything was okay. Everything. And when it was all over, he was going to compensate the doctor, the surgeon. But he couldn't because the surgeon had died. But he was also relieved that he died. Why do you think he was relieved?
Because, well, kind of all evidence has gone. is gone. Who else
Okay.
than him?
Yeah, there was nothing now. There was absolutely nothing now to incriminate him with any of the murders down in Whitechapel. Nothing. Mary was gone. There was no thing about the baby. The only one thing that was alive was, you're not going to believe this, was who? Who's the only person alive now?
Wow, the the boyfriend, Mary Kelly's boyfriend.
Yes, James, because she took his name, remember? He said, if we're going to London, you must take my name.
So we're going to have a life together with the baby.
Yes, yes. So he was the only one alive. So where does he come back into this? Do you reckon he does?
He's banged up in the asylum, isn't he? And
Okay,
he's not
excellent.
he's not going to get better for him to say, yeah, no, you can go now.
Okay, excellent stuff. I'm going to give you the name, and I want you to remember it. Right? Stanley Baldwin. Stanley Baldwin. Okay?
Yeah,
Stanley Baldwin. So now in the meantime, Alice Yap, remember I said she was the nurse to the kids?
yes,
And she seen what was going on, not with the Ripper or anything, nothing like that. But she seen what was going on with Florence. Because when she found out, Florence, that he has a mistress and had 5 kids and was paying her, how do you think she felt? She felt betrayed.
yes,
It's as simple as that. She felt betrayed. So she says, well, if you can play it, I can play it. And they went to, they used to love going to, believe it or not, Aintree for the Grand National.
yeah,
You see how the Grand National is today. It's a world event. Well, it was a world event then. Our Stevie, he was a taxi driver. He's
yeah.
retired now. And he actually picked up at the Adelphi Hotel Gregory the Peck. Gregory Peck. Right. He
Yeah.
picked up Gregory Peck. And Gregory Peck, he said, can you pick me up later? He said, yeah. He said, are you that actor? He went, yes, I'm an actor. So we picked him up. Now I'm going back to, when was it, the 50s? With our kid, taxiing. And he picked him up, brought him back to the hotel. And he said, thank you so much. He said, I have to go to Manchester now. He said, I'll run you up there. He said, no. He said, it's okay. I'm being, there's a car waiting for me when I'm ready to leave to go to Manchester to get back to States. And he went, and he said, here, there's a tip for you. Do you know how much he gave? 100 quid. In the 50s, 60s. 100 quid. Oh, it was happy days for our Steve, We bought a new car, a villa in Spain, and, the usual thing. With his 100 quid. Anyway. So, what happened? They used to go, as I said, to Aintree. And she met this fella by the name of Arthur Brearley. And he had something to do with the cotton as well. So they started having an affair. They started having an affair. And he found out. But also what she found, and this was found years later, and I'm talking years later, and you must know about this. Do you know the way things get covered up?
Yeah.
You know the way things get covered up?
Yeah.
Everything gets covered up. And I mean, from politics to everything.
Yeah. Severely edited.
Yes. And if they don't want you to see whatever it is, remember Stanley Baldwin?
Yeah.
So here's what happened. Before I get back to Stanley Baldwin, here's what happened. These work fellas were in, and they were in the roof, and they were doing this, whatever they were doing about the roof and putting, that stuff down to insulate the house. Not what you get now with them spray things. This was like fiberglass thing. Horrible it was. I had to do it when I lived in my little house. And they were putting things down. They had to point as well, this chimney. They had to repoint it. And when they seen a loose brick, pulled it out. There was something there. In a bag. What do you think it was? It was Maybrick's diaries. Now I'll get back to that. You must remember that. I'll get back to that nevertheless.
Yeah.
So what happened to James Kelly? Remember when I said that he was he's a very clever lad, and he acted daft. Because he didn't want to be hanged, because in those days you were just automatically chopped.
Yeah.
And they sent him to Broadmoor. Broadmoor. They sent him to Broadmoor. And you know what he did? Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. He knew about, the way things go on.
Yeah.
Whatever happens. So he knew about Jack the Ripper. He knew about them. And he knew about the victims.
So
Knew about the victims.
Mary.
He knew about Mary. Thing is, there was no one alive to take revenge or whatever. Now, don't forget, this fella was only young, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But now he's a lot older. But he didn't want to stay in there indefinitely, because he was put in there to die in there, Broadmoor. And here's what he did. He got this lump of soap. And, lump of soap, so, it's not like today, where you can buy a lump of soap, bar of soap. And they're in nice packaging, and all scenty, and you look lovely and smell lovely and everything.
Yeah.
Well, they would come in big blocks, didn't they, then? Do you ever remember Carbolic soap years ago?
Absolutely.
You got like that in your face. Shut up, what are you doing?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
There's a clean sink in the house.
Yes, they did. And this block of soap, he carved it into, you're not going to believe this, a gun. A gun. And he got this black dye from somewhere. I don't know. The black dye from somewhere. And when he realised, you know, he was in his little like place, whatever they were in, you know, these cell things. And there was one guard on. And he called the guard. And he said, it's unfair. He said, come on, let's take you down to the infirmary. And as he was going down the infirmary, where the infirmary was, the door was there to freedom.
Oh, wow.
So we pulled the gun on him. As the guard thought, a real gun. So when he turned it out, he took the baton from the guards, because they walked around with batons, you know, for protection, just in case.
Yeah.
You know, one of these people just kicked off. And he took him and put him in the cell. He was just knocked out, tied him up and everything, and he got off. And he escaped. He escaped.
Jesus.
But you know where he was actually found? He was actually found. Remember when I said Stanley Baldwin?
Yeah.
This policeman was walking through Hyde Park. And he seen this old fella lying on a bench. And he woke him up. He said, hey, you can't stay here, you know. You've got to get up. You've got to move. This is the, you know, early morning. It was light. It wasn't dark or anything. And he went, okay. But he was sick. He was ill. And he said, I'm and he mentioned who he was. And the policeman brought him to the police station. And he was actually like rearrested, but sent to Dartmoor prison. You know, he was a sick man. He never went to Broadmoor. So whether they got mixed up with Broadmoor and Dartmoor, I don't know. Because they sound very similar, don't they?
Yeah.
So anyway, he was sent down to Dartmoor prison, a sick man. And here's what he said. He said, I'm known as Jack the Ripper. That's what he said.
What the?
You may have heard of Jack the Ripper. I am Jack the Ripper. Now, there's lots of caveats with that. First and foremost, a note was written, and I forget the Home Secretary at the time. Sir Stanley Baldwin was the Prime Minister. And he went in to see him. He said, Prime Minister, there's a note there. It's off, you know, the police and whatever. And he looked like that. He looked at the note that I am Jack the Ripper. And he gave details. And he just screwed it up, Baldwin, and threw it away. He said, we know who the Ripper is. Let it go now. Let it go. We don't want any more of this nonsense. That's what Stanley Baldwin said, the Prime Minister.
Oh my word.
But the caveat, as I said, is this. If he, you know, with him being incarcerated for a very long time and knowing that Mary, you know, who he killed for, even his daughter, his baby daughter, he killed for, was murdered, was no longer there. So therefore, why he said he was the Ripper is because he believed that because of him, there would have been no Jack the Ripper. Now I'm getting back to this fella, finish on this. I'm getting back to this fella, Neil. I forget his bloody first name. See, there was a Frank Neil who wrote about the Irish. Absolutely brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I lent that book out as well and never ever got that back. Never ever got it back. And that was about sectarianism, by the way.
Yeah.
It's like a Bible to me. Now, the point is, with this, everything going on, he really believed that nothing would have happened to those girls, especially Mary, if he hadn't murdered his wife or just got off. Remember, we said we would have just walked away anyway, wouldn't we? But he ended up murdering them. Now, it goes back to Neil. And I was like, well, hang on, who was this doctor? And he had a footnote, and it was brilliant. In the book. I think it was. Full of information. Full of the letters as well. As I said, I had all the letters. And, paragraphs, postscripts, everything. So you knew that it was a very articulate man. Well-educated man. You know that the doctor, the surgeon had died.
Yeah.
Of peritonitis. And I said, why couldn't he name him? But the footnote said, I can't name him because the family, I'm going back. The family have still got a practice, get onto this, in Rodney Street. And they could sue me.
Wow.
So that's why he never named them. The actual surgeon. Because when they went to the surgeon's house after he died, what do you think they found?
Would have been at least some form of correspondence and the murder weapons.
Well, do you know the letters?
Yeah.
The letters were actually stamped. One was from Great George Way, Liverpool, which is, around where, around, around the St. John's Gardens way or something like that, the St. John's Gardens, St. George's Hall, and, going towards the Adelphi Hotel. That's where it was anyway. And it was telephone, pillar boxes then. What the postman used to do, because he wouldn't be, we never sent any letters. It was just like these business people and that. So they used to stamp it where it was posted. You see? And it was they were posted from this particular area. And that's where he lived. And it's still not far from Rodney Street, is it? Like today.
Yeah. Wow.
So that was why he wasn't named, the surgeon. You've got the likes of No One Alive. You had the diaries found. And when they read the diaries, what did they say? No, it's all phony, this. He never had it. So they covered it up. No one's ever heard of them since.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So they found the jars in the surgeon's house full of lumps, like kidney, half a kidneys, half a hearts, full hearts, uteruses, wounds, all things that was taken off women, including nipples. And one important thing, one very important thing. James Maybury. Now that was actually sent to Oxford, Cambridge, and Harvard University over in the States to get it carbon copied. Right?
Yeah.
And each university came back and said 1888. And do you know what names are on there?
I couldn't see, but I could see there was something scrawled on him.
These girls, including Mary Jane Kelly, the last victim. I'll by hook or by crook, I'll find this thing I've got, and you'll see the names. The photograph, it's a big one.
Yeah.
I'll get it and I'll show it some other time. What do you think?
Absolutely, it's a journey. Oh my God, I need to lie down. But so what happened to the boyfriend, Kelly? He went back to.
He just went into Dartmoor and died. He was a sick man. He was old. You're talking 1936. He was older. And he was a sick man. And as I said, they were all behaved, As balls went like that, just screwed it up on it. We know who he is.
So,
and don't forget, the likes of, these Freemasons, they protect each other. Baldwin's a Freemason. And all of it. Now, Jane Divers said, I've enjoyed your story tonight. Very interesting. Thank you, Jane. Thank you, Jane Divers. Thank you so much. Could you press the like for me, please? Just press the like. Everyone. Get me algorithm up there. As I said at the beginning of the show, I follow a certain person and he's got like 70,000, and he keeps saying, like and subscribe because the algorithm goes right down. Then there'd be none of this. I'm going to ask the people now while they're here. Would you like me to do? This is one of the most blatant cover-ups ever in the world. I'm not talking Hillsborough, by the way. I'm talking about this. One of the most blatant cover-ups. Because what you get today, you're seeing it on whatever news you watch, you're seeing it, the corruption is unbelievable. I'll give you an example, the corruption of the Nobel Peace Prize. I'll just say that. That was corrupt, that woman winning that. Corrupt. Right, so it just doesn't go today with the corruption throughout governments. It goes back centuries. Centuries it goes back. If you'd like me to do the 1605 gunpowder plot next, it'll be next week. if there's a football, I'm a Liverpool supporter. You know, I'm sorry to if you like the other denominations, you know, and I do the football show. So if Liverpool are playing next Tuesday, because they're up back in the league and the Champions League and whatever, I'll do it on a Thursday. See what I mean? But if they're not playing on Tuesday, because football's back at the weekend, I'll do it Tuesday. And it's this. If you think you know about the 1605 gunpowder plot, please believe me, you don't. Guy Fawkes and all, you don't. So if you want me to do that, just put yes, and I'll do it next week. Along with this fella here who's sitting there pulling faces at me, as usual.
Yeah. Because I think it's life-changing, the knowledge at the end of that people will have.
And if you've enjoyed it, just say thank you. You know, I've enjoyed it. Like the girls there, Jane Divers, Ephemeral. It's a funny name, that. But she said, hi, interesting stuff. Thank you, F. Appreciate it. And our friend, the Red Bear, says I'm late, Frank and Anthony. I've just got in from work, so I'll watch the replay later.
You love it, Red Bear.
Told you the end. But, you know, it is interesting. The Peck owns a horse in 1963, national. They are, and that must have been it. I said the 60s, didn't I? And he gave our kids £100. Thank you there, Dr. Benj. Really appreciate it. I don't see our Stevie now, unfortunately. I've seen him for ages. Owen Lee, even in Frank, Anthony and Chap, been listening from the start, just realised I hadn't said hello. Great show once again, gents. Thank you, Owen.
Good evening, Owen.
Thank you so much, mate.
It was a great show.
And one of our new lads there, Achi Ach.
Oh.
Hello, everyone. Hi, Achi. How lovely. And they're letting on to one another.
Yeah.
And Irene says, yes. That was for the gunpowder plot.
Yeah.
The lovely Ellen, the ambidextrous. Yes. Can you do more local murder cases as well? Yeah, I'll do that. Yes. I was doing them, wasn't I, Anthony? At one point. Yeah, I'll do them with Anthony. If you don't mind, Anthony.
No, I'm happy, Frank. I think that's great.
Okay.
Really good.
Okay. Well, we can do that. We're leaving alone the history of literature. We won't touch that at all. But we could do like a murder, for example, during our history show on a Monday. Would you agree with that?
I do. And of course, if someone was beaten to death with a blunt encyclopedia, we could do it in the literature and history show as well. You know, you've made mention of some very sinister dealings that the greats had in their time in our literature of history.
Yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
This is it. Look, remember at the beginning, and I said one of the suspects was Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
Yes.
Being direct.
Yeah.
And that's the fellow out of Fawlty Towers would say, crazy, Mr. Fawlty, crazy. Yeah, I'll do Dr. Ben's, yeah, definitely. I'll do something which is very, very controversial. A Liverpool murder. Very controversial.
We're going to go for that on Monday.
Yeah, shocking it is. When we have a chat, I'll tell you what it is, Anthony. I'll leave it as a surprise for
Yeah,
these wonderful people.
yeah,
Is that okay with you?
that's brilliant.
And Irene, thanks, Frank. Enjoyed. Thank you, Irene. Oh, Christopher, you've got to come up and get this bloody thing. I promised you. I promised him a couple of football books, you see.
Yeah.
They're here waiting for him. Superb as usual, Frank. Thank you, Christopher. And Callum says, Frank, Israelis and Italians have erupted outside the ground. Have they? Brilliant. I didn't know that. Oh, look at that Callum there, eh? Up the Azori. Yeah, absolutely, up the Azori. I've supported them since I was a kid. The Azori. Only through the family, you know. The Italian family. The Azori, the Blues. Thank you, Callum, for letting me know that. Thank you. And there's, I thought Israel was banned from all the sports. And they're still playing in sport. I think it's disgusting.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you mind if I give you the ring about 10 o'clock?
Not at all, Frank. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, mate. Achie. We've been lied to historically.
Yes.
We've always been lied to, Achie. Like in this, what I've done tonight. Stanley Baldwin, the Prime Minister, screwed this thing up.
Yeah.
With the way he said, we know who it is. They just cover up all the time. Callum, Italy 1, Israel 0. Yes. Are they still playing? Oh, T. Thank you, legends. No, thank you, T.
Thank you.
Will do, Frank. We'll probably be on no problem Monday afternoon. Do you want me to send you have you got my address? Let me know. If you haven't, I'll send it tonight. I'll send it tonight. But I'm sure you've got it. Got them here for you. My library, you see, is there. By this big mic here. What do you think of the police station I'm in?
Well, that's, a little bit worried that you have to pick you up for nicking all them library books. No, I think it's great. I think the set is brilliant. Yeah, really sets the tone.
And Callum says, well, Inter Milan, I have a soft spot. Yeah, we have as well. And there's some of the girls on here, like Toscana and Bella Italia. Inter. Same as myself. Callum says, the 61st minute he scored. And Archie says, Guido was not the brains in the outfit. Listen, you've got to listen in next week, Archie. We start at 7, by the way. Honestly. Should be Netanyahu in that station. Yeah, the guy flipped going to Egypt. Yeah, because Erdogan said, I'm turning, he got right on. He said, I'm turning my plane around if he's going to go. And it's not going to last. People think that it's going to last. It won't last. I'll be talking about that on Friday. I know what you meant, Callum, about the station. Yes. Should be more. He should be in a dungeon. Anyway, Christopher, not got your address, but we can sort that out when I'm definitely on my... No, I'll send you it. Because I need to give you details. So you'll know the details. See where I'm... you're looking at a jail there. Where I live, I've got security doors, haven't I, Anthony?
Absolutely, yeah. And plus, you could have a word with the guards to let you in.
Hello. Yeah. Brilliant. And Callum says, talk Friday anyway, Frank. Just wanted to give you heads up about the Italian-Israeli game. Thank you, Callum. I really appreciate that. But I'll be doing a football show on Thursday, 7 o'clock. And we'll say, because he likes, I know Callum likes the current affairs.
Yeah.
What goes on. And I'm going to ask you, have you enjoyed it?
Me, I have loved it. I loved it. I did. It's to say engrossing is a massive understatement. But what hits home is the locations as well along the tragic story from on our doorstep here.
Yes.
Yes. Makes it all the more poignant.
Well, wait till I do the local murders. You know what?
Yeah.
I forget who it was. It Dr. Benjamin. Can you do any murder? Yeah, of course. But they're very controversial as well. They're not just like plain black and white. It's a waste of time doing them. Waste of time.
No, I look forward to that, Frank.
Is that the calamity or the calamity? Oh my God! Watch the Godfather movies. Actually, say yes. I've watched them. Greatest, The Godfather. Was the greatest film ever made.
Yeah.
And I keep telling people to watch, films I recommend. I like TV series, but I don't like TV series, series 1, series 2, series 3 and all that. I only watch series 1. And if there's one that's series 1, I tell them to watch simply because I watch them back to back. And there's a series, 3 series, they're brilliant. Believe me. One is called The Outsider. Now, I just seen a comment there. Anyway, I forgot what I was talking about.
The 2 series, but one The Outsiders.
Yeah, The Outsider, and when you stream it, it'll come up, but you see a load of outsiders. But this outsider is with Jeremy Bateman. Is it Jeremy Bateman? And Bateman. And what you see the poster, and all you see is a dead tree. It's like a winter scene. A dead tree a figure standing by the tree and a pond. Black and white it is. That's the poster. So be careful that you don't do another one. It's brilliant series. And that's the wonderful The Outsider. The other series is called Your Honor. It's absolute Bryan Cranston, brilliant. Again, just watch that one. And the other one is Spotless, an Anglo-French thing, absolutely brilliant. Colin says, "Did you find Jack the Ripper?" In the end, he was behind. He's through there. Can you see him there? He's there. He pop his head out. Listen to that. Does Frank live in Walton Jail with tight security? Back on chat. Hey, Pac, I recommended you, your photographs to someone was looking for, a friend of mine, by the way. And there was all these, comments. Oh, yeah. And I recommended you because he's looking for a photographer. I recommended you, if you don't mind. If you don't mind, Pac. And Colin, Gweb fella, thought I seen him looking all handsome behind you, posing for a pic. So I'm glad you enjoyed it tonight. I really am, people. Whether you did or not, I don't know. Maze up that you enjoyed it tonight, Anthony. Thanks for helping me out. Yeah. Because it really, it's like a lecture, you ask questions. Like I was saying to you, but what do you think of that letter? Is it written by? And try to explain about the education system going back then. But we already assumed, didn't we, that it was written by a highly intelligent person.
Yeah.
But, obviously a very good or excellent education.
Yeah. Especially
if you use paragraphs, you go back then, 1888, paragraphs, but a postscript. See what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'm glad you enjoyed.
Yeah, loved it.
And I'll give you a ring at 10.
Yeah.
If you don't mind.
Go and get a brew.
Yes.
Put tea in the oven.
Yes.
We can eat now.
Microwave.
There you go.
And in the meantime, what I'll do as well, Hans, I'll take a photograph of that and I'll send you it through WhatsApp.
Yeah. Fantastic.
Those lovely people. I don't know this fella on the end.
No.
Opposite you. I haven't a clue who he is. So I'll send you that through. Isn't that strange, though, saying about those lovely couple, Karen and Jimmy, got married on the day, jumped on the coach because they booked it. They were on their honeymoon. They just got married. And they were all sitting there lovely,
Yeah, no, when you told me the story, that was wonderful enough. And
there's the picture.
Looking for feedback today, and there's a photo.
Incredible. I just went, whoa, when I seen it, I went, whoa.
Yeah.
Brilliant. In modern day times, watch the Sons of Anarchy. Couldn't make it up. Yeah, I've seen it. Sons of Anarchy, that series, the bikers. And Christopher, my Frank and Anthony and everyone up the history, Reds. Up the history.
Good night, Christopher.
Thanks, Christopher. Thank you. I'm faster taught. Cheers, lads.
Cheers, fastest.
Oh, jeez. So I'll give you the ring.
Yeah.
I just want to thank. Cheers, Faster, mate. Cheers. And I've just got to thank these wonderful people who sponsor all the pods, all the Frank Carlyle pods. And that's Gap Painting Services. Please get them in. Please get them in. Because they're the best. I'm telling you now, fully time served, fully insured, first class people. And if you're NHS worker, get them in because you get a special discount. If you're an elderly couple or even living on your own, please get them in. You get a special discount. And if you're not doing any decorating, you don't fit into the categories, just call them out for a price without any obligation. Get them in. Don't struggle, especially with Christmas coming up. And that's Gap Painting Services, the sponsors of the Frank Carlyle podcasts. And Archie says, watch The Sopranos, truth in that as well. That was the best TV series I've ever seen. I followed it right through. And they were going to, sorry, what was you going to say?
It was gripping.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
even the Mafia liked it.
Yeah.
In the Mafia. And James Gandolfini, unfortunately, he was in Rome. He visited some family members in Napoli. Went up to Rome to have a look around. He was going to, the Vatican and places like that. And he died of an heart attack there. And there was a film coming out. Not, going to start in production when he got back home. The Sopranos, a film. And then possibly another series. But it would have been probably not possible. Probably another series. If all the cast was up. And unfortunately, he died.
Much loved, man. The cast and the crew and everyone loved him.
Yeah. He's a gentleman, by the way. Gentleman. And we've got to thank Jason for setting everything up for tonight.
Absolutely.
Including the police station.
Yeah.
And he'll be setting us up for tomorrow night as well.
Fantastic.
For the history of literature.
Yeah. Well, he set you up tonight, and we're just grateful that it wasn't Broadmoor.
Yes.
Yeah. No, Jason is.
So anyway,
find it.
We've thanked Jason. We've thanked Gap Painting Services. But who are the most important people we have to thank?
Without doubt, our beautiful chat, the wonderful chatters for everything, for their likes and their suggestions and their comments.
Because without them, what would they won't be?
Without them, there would be no show.
Absolutely. It's as simple as that, aren't we? And on that wonderful note, don't forget tomorrow night, the history of literature, which is outstanding in my opinion. And next week, it'll be a murder on the history show. On Monday, it'll be a murder, a local murder, very controversial.
Yeah.
Okay. And Thursday, football show, because it's back on at the weekend.
Oh.
And Saturday morning is I'm sorry about last week, something happened, as you know, and I'll have the film and TV review. And we'll go through some films. I've watched some bad films, and I'm recommending not to watch pathetic ones. So, and our lovely Toscana. Yes, sounds good to me.
Right.
Thank you, Tosk. Thank you, sweetheart. And on that wonderful note, this is our lovely Callum. 2-0 Italy. The Azori. Italy. Yes, Italia. Italia. Forza. Yes. Yes. Bye them. Don't want them. Don't want them in any sport. What they do. I've seen footage. Breaks my heart. Breaks my heart. But I've seen what they've done. I can't even put it up here. Thank you, Callum. And I'll see you later on, privately. And I'll see you tomorrow night for the history of literature.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Brilliant, Frank.
Thank you, everyone. And hopefully see some of you tomorrow, or all of you. I don't know. Definitely see you on Thursday, all you football fans. Let's hope that the Scottish pair is a lot better. We're worrying now about Johan. I haven't heard of him from him. And let's hope that he's okay. Good night, everybody. Good night.